next is El Interior, right?
Listen, I've helped over 100 brands just like yours increase their followers and revenue using organic social media and $0 in ad spend. And I am giving away my step-by-step guide to exactly how I did it to the first 20 people who smash that link down below. So what are you waiting for? Let's go make some money and let's go gain some followers. Boom!
Alright guys, so this is the Kia EV6 and it changed my mind about electric cars. Now I know what you're thinking, and let's get the elephant out of the room. And that's the $62,000 price tag for a Kia. And I know what you're thinking. You can get so many different cars for $62,000. There's luxury cars, there's performance cars. But let me tell you why I think this car is actually worth the money. So before we get into range, I want to talk about the styling of this car, because for a week straight, I've been getting nothing but compliments, and everyone who's come up to this car asks me, what kind of car are you driving? The styling on this is absolutely gorgeous. Besides the satin finish paint, which comes from the factory, this is not a wrap, this is actually a factory satin paint from Kia. This car is beautiful. Between the beautiful LED headlights and taillights, the sloping roof line, the black and gray accents all over this place, this car is a good looking car. And even parked next to my satin Mercedes-Benz, this car looks like a luxury car. Kia also did a fantastic job with their key. Now, by the first looks at it, this is just a normal looking key. You have some buttons over here and buttons that are hidden on the side, such as lock, unlock, and panic. However, what I really want to talk about are these two buttons right here. So if you hold this button, it'll actually drive the car forward from a parking spot. So let's say there's two people parked right next to you and it's way too tight and you can't even get into the car without slamming your door open. Well, you can use this key button right here and the car will self-drive itself out of the parking spot. Same thing vice versa. You can also back the car into a very tight parking spot as well. Next, you also have remote start from the key. Something a lot of car manufacturers don't do anymore. For whatever reason, you have to go onto an app and remote start that way, but it's so refreshing to see that Kia actually put the button on the key for once. And it's cool that you could do it with an electric car too, because it basically warms up the battery, it warms up the inside without obviously having to turn on the engine. All it does is turn on the battery for you. And speaking of the key, these door handles have a very unique design. So by the first look of it, these are actually flush. A lot of people, when the car was locked, was like, how do I even get into the car? However, if you unlock the car, they actually pop out and you grab your hand and pull them just like this. To close it, you tap your finger on here and the door handles go flush again. I assume this is not only for styling, but for aerodynamics as well, to get better miles per year range when you're driving on the highway. And then there's the front. Now, normally in an electric car, you have a big, beautiful storage area to put anything you want. But what is this? At first glance, you think this is an engine. It's not an engine. Clearly, it's an electric car. Then you see it's a big EV badge. And then you see there's a handle. And when you lift up the handle, you have the smallest storage area I have ever witnessed in my life. This is big enough to put a cell phone, your car keys, and nothing else, and leave it in the front of your car. Why even have this? Well, my favorite part about the exterior of this car has to be that ass. Because back here, not only do you have a beautiful sloping roofline and a secondary spoiler that helps with aerodynamics, you have one of the most beautiful taillights I have ever witnessed on a car. These LED lights have individual lights going all throughout the buttress, and it goes all the way down, and you would think there's lights coming down here, but there's not. They actually put this beautiful dark chrome, but at nighttime, these lights look absolutely incredible, and I give huge props to the designer team at Kia for how this rear end looks.
Now, let's talk about the interior. This is where your real money is being spent. This is a luxury car without the badge. You have these beautiful leather and suede seats that hug you in place. They're super comfortable. I took a long road trip on this car. Then there's the fact that they're both heated and cooled, along with the steering wheel being heated as well. And they heat up really quick. It was 30 degrees yesterday, and I swear my butt was warm within 2 minutes of getting into the car. Then there's the technology. The technology in this car is incredible. Starting off, you have this beautiful curved 12-inch display that's not only quick to touch, but it has all the features that you would ever want. 360 cameras, 3D cameras, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all these amazing things that you would find in a lot of luxury cars are all standard here on this Kia. But I want to talk about the ambient lighting on this car. This car has the funniest ambient lighting I've ever seen in any car. Now, yes, a lot of cars can change colors with their ambient lighting, and what car doesn't? But the way that Kia actually named what colors on their ambient lighting actually help you do is hilarious. So they have colors like blue light, and then they have a description of what blue light may do. So a blue light, if you change the color to blue, it may help improve concentration while driving. Then you could change it to green. And they say if you change it to green, it may help to relax and replenish your energy. Then, if you change the color to orange, they say it may help to awaken mind and body and reinforce inner confidence. Now let me ask you, Kia, what psychologist did you hire that told you that if you change the color to orange, it will help awaken inner confidence? I have never seen a car manufacturer have this deep of an explanation based off the color of their ambient lighting, and I find that absolutely hilarious.
The more we go through this car, the more I like it.
Right? Like, it's like very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And overall, the materials on this car are extremely luxurious. If you got in a Kia 10 years ago, I promise you it would not look anything like this car. This car has leather, suede, metal, beautiful high quality plastics all over this car. Everywhere that my hands and butt touches, they are greeted with the most incredible feeling materials ever put into a non-luxury car. Kia did an incredible job at making sure that your $62,000 stretches as far as possible as far as interior quality. The technology extends to even the dashboard as well. You have a heads-up display that shows your speed, your direction, the speed limits, and your self-driving capabilities all on the windshield without your eyes ever having to move off the road. Now, speaking of self-driving, this car has self-driving capabilities. Now, I'll be honest with you, if you've gotten out of a Mercedes or a Tesla, it's not as good. The self-driving capabilities, yeah, it's there, but especially with the steering, as soon as this car hits a curve in the road, it freaks out and it turns itself off. Kind of a dangerous thing. However, when you're driving straight on the highway, it's perfect. You don't have to put your hands on the wheel, although it may ask you to do it every minute or so. It does a very good job of you just sitting back, relaxing and letting the car take care of the self-driving for you. What I like about this car compared to others, however, is the fact that you can either do self-driving with just the steering wheel and you control the gas and the brake, or you could do full self-driving and it does the adaptive cruise control and the steering for you. So I like that Kia gave you both options, because listen, if I don't want to use cruise control and maybe I just want to have my hands rest for a few minutes, I have that ability to do it as well. And then there's the noises this car makes. Now, most electric cars have a very standard noise that they'll make, and it's kind of futuristic, it's kind of weird, but Kia takes it one step further, and I absolutely love them for this. So they have a feature called Active Sound Design, and what this means is basically you can customize the noise that your electric Kia makes when you step on the accelerator pedal. You could change it from small change, so it makes a small noise, to a large change where it sounds like a race car on the inside, but they take it one step further. You could go into advanced settings and customize the sound that your electric car makes when you're driving. So they have sounds like stylish, that makes it sound stylish. They have a mode that's dynamic, which gives it more of a deep sound. Or you have cyber sound, which makes it sound like you're literally inside of a spaceship. Or you could customize the sound and choose what is the graph and how loud does the car get the more you step on the accelerator. So it's like putting an aftermarket exhaust on your electric car. What other car manufacturer allows you to do that? And I really like that Kia has a full digital dashboard. However, there's a few limitations on it. First off, unlike other manufacturers, there's not a lot of customizability that you could do with this dashboard. For example, I really want to put like a map on here or see my media or something like that. Kia doesn't really give you much. All they give you is this graph of where you're driving and if there's someone in your blind spot or how far you are over the line. There's really not much you could do with it. While it's nice to have your dashboard being digital, I'd really like if they gave a little more customizability. But speaking of the dashboard, there's a really cool feature on this car. So if I turn my right or left blinker on, it will actually show a camera that's hidden inside of the mirror and show my live blind spot on the dashboard. Now, at first I thought this was a really dumb feature, and now I can't live without it. This has to be one of the coolest hidden features ever put in a car, and I love that it's on the new Kia EV6.
Now, let's talk about charging. On a full battery, this car says you will get around 275 miles on a single charge. After a week of driving this car, I have yet to see that. On average, this car has costed me between $25 to $35 to charge to 100%. One time, I started at 4%, and it charged to 100%. It took 42 minutes to get up to 100% battery and costed $36. The second time, I started at 48%, and it costed me $26 and 53 minutes to get to 100% battery. However, that was with 3 other cars on chargers as well. I went during a very busy time. My only problem with this car is the fact that it's electric. And whether that's the car's fault or the infrastructure's fault, I think is up to you. Personally, if I were to buy an electric car, you would need a home charger or a charger wherever you go to work. Stopping at the mall or a public charger is not a fun thing. Again, it takes anywhere from my personal experience between 30 minutes to an hour to get back up to 100% battery. And listen, yes, I could have unplugged and left not being at 100%, but if I'm sitting there anyways, why not get the extra juice? Especially when this car is only claiming to get around 275 miles for a single battery, and on average, I wasn't even seeing that. So, given, I wanted it to be at 100%. So is it really worth your time if you don't have a home charger or a charger at the office to sit there for almost an hour to charge your car? Or is it better off sitting at a gas station and spending 5 to 10 minutes to fill up your tank and then having more miles to drive? That's really where I'm at when it comes to electric cars. Now listen, I'm sure there's electric cars that get more miles per your battery. I'm sure there's better alternatives than sitting at a public charger. Like I said, there's the home charger as well. But from my personal experience, after driving this car for a week, going to a public charger is not a good use of my time, and that is the only downfall I have with this electric car. Behind the wheel of the all-electric Kia EV6. This car is actually pretty fun to drive. It only has 255 horsepower. However, that 255 horsepower, because this car is electric, is instant. And I love it. You do not need a lot of horsepower when it comes to electric cars. However, you can get a version of this car that has over 500 horsepower if you're a true enthusiast. But if I put this car in sport mode, this car is plenty fast. This is more than enough horsepower for any person. And the target person who is buying this car does not need a lot of power. If I'm on the highway, all I have to do is just smash the gas and I am going faster than I should be going. This car rides very, very nice. I mean, luxury car nice. These seats are crazy comfortable. I took a 5-hour road trip in this car the other day, and I was so comfortable driving this car. The self-driving was amazing. The sound insulation, you don't hear a lot of road noise. There's a lot to like about this car. It drives like a $62,000 car that it is. Huge props to Kia. Now let's talk about the handling for a second, because the battery is not in the middle like a traditional electric car. It's up front. But even though the battery is all the way up front, it handles very, very nice. Is it a sports car? Nope, but it wasn't designed to be a sports car, and it's okay. The handling is fine. The steering is fine. It's direct. You could definitely feel what's going on. There's definitely a lot of steering input that needs to happen, but it drives so nice. I think that's the biggest thing that's blowing me away about this car is 10 years ago, if you hopped in a Kia, you'd expect it to kind of ride like shit. Now, it rides just like a luxury car. And I think that's a huge, huge win for them. And to celebrate, I'm going to put it in sport mode and watch the range trickle down, because it is that fun. Congrats, Kia. You made a fantastic car. So there it is, the Kia EV6. A fantastic car with a few drawbacks. It's luxurious, totally worth the money, but still not quite there as far as electric cars. And again, is it the car's fault, or is it the infrastructure that we have here in America? I'll leave that up to you. Huge thank you to Kia North America for giving me this car for the week. No, they did not pay me for this video. They did not tell me what to say. They said, say whatever you want, and this is my real opinion. There are a few more cars coming in this month that I think you guys are going to love. I know I'm super excited. So if you want to see those cars, you know exactly where to click. I'll see you on the next one.
Listen, I've helped over 100 brands just like yours increase their followers and revenue using organic social media and $0 in ad spend. And I am giving away my step-by-step guide to exactly how I did it to the first 20 people who smash that link down below. So what are you waiting for? Let's go make some money and let's go gain some followers. Boom!